the first step of this ingestion process that I mentioned, which is at the exploding of the PCAPs. So by default, we won't do it for you because a lot of people don't want to have their PCAPs going through Zeek. They may want to do something else. So the way that you can do this is through a DNR rule. I mentioned that when an artifact gets created, ingested, we produce an event, and that means you can create a DNR rule off of that event. In this case, it's very, very basic. You can see on the left side, what we want to detect is a very basic rule that says, I want this to target artifact event. The event I'm interested in is called ingest. So that's just, that something has been ingested. The artifact type I'm interested is in PCAP. I'm not interested by Windows event logs or any of those other ones. And the last two lines here are really just a no-op, meaning, as long as there's some data in there, as long as the root of that event exists, because in this case, I'm not really interested in filtering out which PCAP. You could specify all the way down to, only PCAPs that come from this box and that are, with this filter or things like that. So in this case, we're saying all PCAPs that are ingested. The response side is what we want to do about it when that happens. So very simple. Here we're saying the action we want to take is a service request. The service we want to talk to is called Zeek. And here's the request that we want to make to that service. So we want the action that's called run on, pretty basic. We want to give it an artifact ID. And that artifact ID is a unique identifier for the artifact that we've just received. So this, this formatting is telling the DNR rule to actually pick that value from the event itself in the routing/log ID. Again, log ID is kind of the old term for artifact. And finally, we're asking Zeek to use a retention of 90 days. So previously, we said, I want to retain raw full PCAPs for 30 days. And the produced Zeek logs from these PCAPs, I want to keep for 90 days. So you can optimize your retention there. So, you have full PCAP for a while, and then, the kind of lighter processed version held on for longer. As soon as we put this in prod, after, 10 seconds, any PCAP that comes in will hit this rule, trigger, and will run through Zeek, and will feedback. You'll start seeing, a PCAP coming in as an artifact. And then a couple seconds later, you will see a series of Zeek logs being produced from that artifact, and you can browse those.